So I think we can start. So we can start, sir.
Yes, sir. So Rajesh, you can start.
So welcome all to this Region 7 chapter student-led webinar series. So today the topic is Agentic AI, and it will be presented by Mr. Joshua Sanay Ninan, student Computer Science and Engineering, Baselios College, Trivandrum. So over to you, Joshua.
All right. Am I audible? Can you see me too?
Yes.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I hope you had an amazing Saturday. I'm Joshua Sunny Ninan. I'm a computer science student at Baselios College, just like as Sir mentioned, and I'll be the resource person for today's student and workshop. Our topic for today is agentic AI, from chatbots to autonomous problem solvers. Now, most of us have used ChatGPT or other AI tools mainly for asking questions and getting answers. But AI is quickly moving beyond that. The next big shift is that AI is becoming capable of planning and completing tasks, not just responding with text. The idea is that AI can now act as well as execute workflows, and this is what we call agentic AI. So within the next 45 to 50 minutes, I'll break this down from scratch in the simplest way possible. And I'll also try to connect it with real world applications so you can understand it better. So moving over to the first slide. Now, the importance of AI. You'll be asking me, why am I taking such a topic as a seminar or a talk session today? Over the last few years, AI became popular because of chatbots, tools that can answer questions and generate text. For example, ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude AI, etc., etc. But now AI is moving from chatbots to digital workers, meaning AI is no longer just limited to giving suggestions like text related suggestions. It can now perform real life tasks. Like, for example, it can write code, it can debug it, it can summarize research papers, it can help students with learning plans. It can also start doing data cleaning and chart generation for like data science related work. And then also it is automating businesses, like different tasks in businesses, like for example, repetitive work like email and reports. So the reason that this is important is because agentic AI is becoming part of many real life products. In the future, a lot of software might not just have buttons or features. Instead, it might have an AI assistant inside the app, which does the task for you. This, that's the direction the industry is moving on further on. And that's why learning agentic AI gives you an advantage, especially for computer science students. As you can see on the screen, a shifting paradigm. AI is evolving beyond simple responses, focusing on executing tasks that require multi step planning and execution, demonstrating a significant leap in capability and utility. And then there's the workflow automation. By automating complex workflows, agentic AI reduces human effort, allowing users to focus on higher level tasks, while the AI manages the details and processes effectively. Next is enhancing productivity. The implementation of agentic AI leads to a marked increase in productivity, streamlining operations and minimizing repetitive tasks, thereby freeing up valuable time for innovation and creativity. I hope that's clear. Um, Moving on to the next one. Before we go into what agentic AI is, let me give you an understanding of what an agent is. So now coming to this topic, a simple definition would be agentic AI refers to an AI system that can plan, decide, and take actions using tools as well as feedback loops to accomplish goals. And the easiest way to understand is would be agent AI would be equal to AI that acts, not just talks. Like for example, earlier back then when ChatGPT was first released, it was just limited to text related work. It was just a basic traditional chatbot. But now it's getting advanced and now it's performing tasks using tools. So normal chat AI is mostly limited to generating responses, while an agentic AI goes a step further and tries to complete the task. That's why it's becoming extremely useful in automation and real world applications. As you can see here, the first one is goal oriented. So an agent begins with a specific goal to achieve, ensuring all actions are directed towards completing the objective effectively and efficiently, much like a project manager. And then planning steps after defining the goal, the agent maps out necessary steps, breaking the task into smaller and smaller manageable subtasks that guide its actions and keep progressing organized and clear. Um, Next is action observation. Once the plan is set, the agent executes actions while continuously observing the results, making adjustments as needed to optimize performance and ensure the goal is met successfully. Now that we got that cleared, I hope that's clear to everyone. Um, let's go and move next to the next slide. Now, before I begin with this topic, can anyone tell me what an agentic AI? Does anyone know what an agentic AI is? Anyone from the audience? Anyone? Okay, you can take it as mini robots. Not a bad example or understanding of what it is. So I'll just get into it. So now agentic AI. This is the main part of what we're going to today. So simple, like I mentioned before, it's agentic AI refers to a system that can plan, decide, and take actions using tools and feedback loops to accomplish goals. So as you can see over here, yeah, autonomous action. So agentic AI is designed to plan and execute actions towards specific goals, functioning independently rather than merely gathering responses. Now, what feedback loops are, it essentially is it utilizes tools and feedback loops to refine its strategies, allowing adaptive behavior and improving decision making based on real time observations and results. And beyond text generation, unlike traditional chatbots, agentic AI transcends simple conversation, actively engaging in problem solving across various contexts, making it a powerful asset in automation and productivity. Hope that's clear to everyone. Now, next we'll go into the difference between chatbots versus agentic AIs. So, if you think about a chatbot waits for your response. Like for example, if you go to ChatGPT, it's not going to start with a question or it won't begin with a statement. It'll wait for your response. So what does it? It waits for your response. Then once you respond, it replies to it with a given information or the information that you require based on your prompt. An agent, on the other hand, it takes a goal, breaks it into multiple steps, like I mentioned before, uses multiple tools, and executes the action. And after executing the action, it validates the result, meaning that it should make sure the result has been obtained. If it's not, it will repeat. So as you can see here, the output style of a chatbot, a traditional chatbot, is a one-shot response, while in an agentic AI, It's a multi-step execution. Like I mentioned before, it takes a goal, breaks it into multiple steps, uses tools, executes actions, and then validates the results. And the behavior of both of them. One is for chatbot, it's reactive, while for agentic AI, it's goal driven and proactive, meaning whatever you ask the chatbot, it'll react based on how you asked it. It won't go in depth or it won't go further on to make sure everything is as per the result. But for an agentic AI, it will try its best to keep iterating until it reaches the result you require. Next is the tool usage. Chatbots don't use tools at all, or if they do, it's very limited. But for agentic AI, the core functionality are tools. And when it comes to memory, chatbots are only sessional, which means it's only meant for the session alone. Like, for example, let's say today I go ask a chatbot, how's the weather today? It's only going to obtain memory just to answer this particular question. After that, it'll clear the memory. But in terms of an agentic AI, the memory would be short. There are two types of memory in agentic AI. There's short as well as long-term memory. Short-term, and these two topics are will be coming ahead in the further slides. Next one is outcome. The chatbot has an outcome of information retrieval, while in agentic AI, it's a completed task. Let me actually bring an example for this. So let's say if you ask, let's say the prompt is, help me create a resume. A chatbot will say, okay, here's a template, here are some tips, you can go ahead and build your resume. But an agent, on the other hand, will do something like it'll ask you for your skills, projects, education, it'll draft a resume, it will improve it based on ATS keywords, format it properly, as well as suggest role-based improvements. And finally, the output would be a clean version of a resume that you wanted. And again, like I mentioned before, it's iterative. So it will restart everything from the beginning until unless the result is obtained. So essentially, the agent behaves like a worker completing a task end to end. I hope as of now everything is clear. Yeah,
Excuse
coming,
me. Excuse me.
yes,
Could you,
yes.
for the benefit of students, could you please explain the difference between traditional AI and agentic AI with real life examples so that people could be crystal clear? Thank you.
Could you repeat the question? I couldn't hear you.
I was asking the question. My question is, could you please, for the benefit of student community, could you please explain the difference between traditional AI and agentic AI with real world examples so that people could understand much better? Thank you.
Okay, sure, sure. So for traditional chatbots, like when you remember AI, in this case, it's chatbots. So traditional chatbots, what they do is they take in texts. For example, like I mentioned right now, let's say your prompt is to help me create a resume. So what a traditional chatbot would do is once it gets the prompt, it will reply with a template like, okay, your resume should include skills, it should include this, include your education, experiences, etc., etc. It won't go further on, and it won't build a proper resume for you. It will only give you a template and some tips to build your resume. As for a traditional chat, they confuse it with Chat GPT. As of now, ChatGPT is an agent. Previously, in the beginning, it was a traditional chatbot. It didn't have tools connected with it. It didn't have images. It didn't have um, stronger LLMs. LLMs back then was just limited to text generation and understanding human text. As of now, LLMs are built along with tools so that a particular chatbot becomes an agent. And now comparing it with an actual agent, which again is ChatGPT, what it does now is, let's say,
Sorry,
we're taking the example
sorry.
as before,
Hello. Sorry
help
to
create
interrupt.
a resume. Yeah, sure.
Hello. Sorry to
Yes.
interrupt. See, my question was chatbot and AI itself is different. They are not one and the same. So my request was to explain the difference between traditional AI and agentic AI so that people can understand and appreciate the agentic AI part. Okay, chatbot is just an interface, right? So could you please explain in a manner that students can understand the difference between agentic AI and traditional AI, please? Thank you.
Mm, the thing is, traditional AI is the previous chatbots. So I don't really understand the question because previous traditional AIs include chatbots and agentic AIs include tools. So I don't really understand what question you're trying to ask.
Yeah,
It's okay. If you're not clear, please continue. Yeah, please continue. Thank you.
Continue.
Okay, sure. Another example I had ready was a placement preparation agent. So the agent begins by asking the user for their desired role and timeline to understand the specific requirements and expectations for their preparation journey. The next is the daily planning. Like I said, this is an agent, not a chatbot. It's an agent using its tools. It then creates a structured daily plan, outlining tasks such as learning modules and practice exercises, tailored to ensure steady progress towards the user's career goals. Next would be the coding practice. The agent generates customized coding challenges based on the user's skill level, allowing them to practice effectively while receiving real-time feedback on their performance. Mock interviews are the next one. Finally, a series of mock interviews are scheduled, providing the user with a realistic experience to prepare them for actual job interviews, enhancing their confidence and readiness. What this slide basically is, it's an example, like I mentioned before, for placement preparation. It gives advice, like for example, if I take traditional AI, like I mentioned before, if you ask a traditional chatbot AI, um, how do I prepare for placements? Um, it gives a general advice like data structure. You study data structures, perform projects, build projects, learn aptitude, etc., etc. But an agent can go much deeper. So what it does, it can ask what your current level is, ask your targeted role, like for example, whether it's software engineering, whether it's business, whether it's data science, etc., etc. Now, next would be it would create a structured 30-day plan or whatever plan you require. And the next would be give a daily coding question, like I mentioned over here. And it gives a mock interview questions. It also track your progress as well as adjust based on weak areas. So as I mentioned here, for this example, an agentic AI goes way deeper as compared to a traditional chatbot. So a key difference I would point out here would be a chatbot informs you while an agentic AI helps you accomplish the goal. This is why agentic AI is powerful for real productivity. Yeah.
Yeah, I want here, I just wanted to give one example which everybody is using. Gmail, everybody, we are using a day in, day out. When you respond to an email in Gmail, automatically the next words, if you start typing in dear, automatically the word automatically it picks up from who is the to, right? It puts that name and then the put thanks and things like that. It automatically draft the letter for you. That is the normal chat GPT kind of work. Whereas if in another agentic AI with the same email example, if you have an attachment with a travel to some abroad and a ticket is there or aeroplane ticket is there or a flight ticket is there, the email is automatically scans through all your emails and it will schedule on the day before the travel. It will inform you that you are having a travel plan and tomorrow the flight is automatically it picks up the data and tells you that. That is what the agentic AI is, completely scan through all your emails and what action you need to do. It automatically informs you. So that is what the agentic AI does that. Thank you.
Yeah, I understand. But then the thing is, as of now, ChatGPT is an agent. Back then, ChatGPT wasn't. It was a traditional AI chatbot. As of now, it does include tools. Like I mentioned, agent AIs require tools to become agentic. So yeah, ChatGPT right now is an agent AI. It uses tools. It can scan through it. It can also scan through emails, but as of now, it's limited due to permissions. But if you do give your email to ChatGPT, it will be able to scan through your emails.
So this
I
is
hope
done
that
by Gemini, right? So Google's email is automatically taking
yes,
the
Gemini,
input from
yes,
the Gemini and does that. Okay.
yes. As of now, the AI chatbots have built over all the way into becoming agentic AIs. So as of now, there are barely any traditional chatbots. What's going on right now are actual agentic AIs. ChatGPT, Gemini are currently agentic AIs. They use tools to build stuff or perform tasks. ChatGPT doesn't have access to emails, but if you do give access to emails, ChatGPT can perform the same task just like Gemini. I hope that's a good answer. Okay, may I continue? Okay, next is the core agent loop. So now the most important part of the agentic AI workshop is the agent loop. So before I go into the presentation, agentic AI works in cycles, and the basic of the cycle will be it thinks, it acts, it observes, and then repeats. So as you can see, the goal setting is the agent begins by identifying a specific goal it aims to achieve, laying the foundation for the subsequent planning phase and ensuring focused action. In the planning phase, the agent devises a structured plan by breaking down the goal into manageable steps, determining the sequence and dependencies involved in executing the task effectively. Next is the action execution. The agent takes definitive actions based on the plan, utilizing available tools and resources to implement the necessary steps towards achieving the defined goal. And after that is the observation and adjustment. After execution, the agent observes the results, assessing the outcomes against expectations and updates its state in order to refine future actions and improve performance. Now, let me bring an example, like just as you mentioned, a travel agent. So first will be is to understand the goal. For example, I want a 2-day travel itinerary. So that's the prompt. Now it has to understand the prompt. And next is the plan steps. So it's going to plan day one, the number of places you got to go, day two, the number of places you got to go, and then the budget, and then the travel time. And then third is the action that's going to be taken using tools. The core part of the agentic AI are tools. So what it does, it searches for locations, check travel time, check entry fees, etc., etc. This is the example just like also I gave it before. And then it observes the result. The tool gives data back, like for example, timings, cost, distances. This is the result from the tools. And then it repeats until the plan is correct and complete. So unless and until it reaches the result, then only it will stop its processing and give its final result. Otherwise, it will just keep on iterating until the result is obtained. So instead of just giving one-shot output like traditional chatbots, agents iteratively improve, therefore giving you a better answer. And this loop makes the agentic AI truly agentic. I hope that's clear. Here's a small workflow to show you how it looks like. Like I said, it's a cycle. First, it's the user goal. It's going to understand the goal once triggered. It will then think, which is essentially where it lands. The reasoning steps happen around here. Then it will act using tools, whether it's search, code, API calls, etc., etc. And then it will obtain the results from the tools and then observe and understand, analyze the output. If it's not the final output required, it will repeat from the beginning and then go to think and so on and so on. Here's another example that I have. The scenario is preparing a seminar. So first, the user prompt will give prepare a seminar on AI. So first, it'll clarify. This is where the beginning part happens. This is where it understands the prompt, what the user requires. So it'll ask audience level and duration, like what an audience would want from a seminar and how long the seminar has to be. Then it'll do its research. It's the planning phase. It'll do its research using tools. So now it'll trigger a web search for topics, will look for the topics based on the seminar topic, and then from all the tools, it will then it'll generate the outline in the planning phase. As you can see over here, the planning phase. It'll generate the outline, it'll perform its reasoning, and then it'll build a draft. So it'll write content into a file, whether it's like PDF file or whatever, etc. Another tools are going to be used here, for example, Canva, any presentation tools, and then it'll verify. So it'll perform its self correction and it'll review its work and make sure the goal is obtained. Once that is done, the final output is ready as a PPT format. I hope the example is clear. Next, we'll be going to is the agentic AI architecture. So this is where the components of the AI agent come in. As you can see, the first part is the LLMs. So what LLMs are, they are large language models where it serves as the brain of the agent, understanding user intent and generating actionable plans, enabling effective interaction and task execution across various domains. Then there's the planner. The planner, what it does is it breaks down goals into manageable subtasks, determining the order of actions and managing dependencies, which is essentially for successful task completion efficiency. Next one is tools, which empowers the agent by allowing it to execute specific actions such as web searches, code execution, and database queries, facilitating real-world application and performance enhancement. There are also three other things that are included inside the components of the AI, which is the memory, the executor, the evaluator or the critic, and finally the user feedback loop. So, like I mentioned before, first is the LM or the brain. We'll go in detail of every single topic, but for now, let me just give a small brief of every single component. One is like I mentioned over here. The first is the LM. This is the large language model that understands generates responses. Then the planner that breaks the goal into steps. The tools. This is how the agent interacts with the outside world. It collects information from various sources and it uses tools to obtain a particular answer. Then there's the memory. This is where it stores context so it doesn't forget. Then the executor, which actually performs the action or calls the tools. Then six, the evaluator or predict, which is it checks the result, validates, and then it retries if it's not the result that it requires. And last one is the user feedback loop, which is where this is where the humans can approve or correct the agent if it's wrong. Let me show you the next slide. Here's a small pictorial representation of the anatomy I mentioned before. As you can see, the LM serves as the brain. There's a planner, the tools, there's the critic, and then the memory. The feedback loop is external. It doesn't have to be included inside this. But yeah, this is a pretty decent presentation of how it looks. Obviously, this is not exactly how it looks in real life, but then for your understanding, this is how the anatomy of an agentic AI looks like. As of now, I hope everything is clear. Now, the first component, the brain of the agentic AI. So, as you can see here, first is the user intent. What it does is an LLM effectively interprets user queries, identifying the underlying intent behind requests to provide accurate and relevant responses tailored to the user's needs and context. Then there's the reasoning. It empowers reasoning techniques to develop logical plans, breaking down complex tasks into actionable. Okay. It empowers reasoning techniques to develop logical plans, breaking down complex tasks into actionable steps that facilitate effective problem solving and decision making process for user. Next is the action selection. The LM intelligently selects the next action based on context and previous interactions, ensuring continuous progress towards completing the user's goals while adapting to changes in requirements. So what this part basically means is the LLM is like the brain. Like I mentioned before, it's the brain of the agent. So it's responsible for understanding the language, reasoning about the tasks, generating solutions, explaining output. But here's the limitation with LLMs, and that is LLMs alone cannot reliably do real world things like live internet browsing or running code or verifying the latest information. So here is where tools come in. So essentially, AI uses LLMs as a thinker and the tools as a doer. So that's why LLMs plus tools makes an agent stronger. The next one is, before that, there's a small pictorial representation about how the LLM works. Like I said, LLMs work with tools to make it agentic. It can perform web searches, Python can have a Python interpreter for math and logic or programming stuff. Then communication, then there's file, read write operations, database operations, and there's a lot more operations you can do. But then, yeah, like I mentioned before, LLMs require tools to actually perform tasks because LLMs can't really do it on its own. So next one is the planning module. So as you can see here, the goal breakdown. First, it breaks down a large goal into smaller, manageable subtasks, and it helps clarify the overall objective and makes the process less overwhelming for the agent managing the tasks. Next is step ordering. Determine the order in which tasks should be completed and shows efficiency as it allows dependencies to be addressed and optimizes the workflow for successful goal achievement. And the last one is dependency management. Handling dependencies between tasks is crucial. It prevents bottlenecks and ensures that prerequisites are completed before starting subsequent tasks for a smooth execution process. So what this part essentially means is in the planner module, it breaks down tasks. Uh, it is responsible for deciding correct sequences. It is also responsible for choosing tools when needed. Like for example, let's say the goal is write a mini project report, and the planner makes steps. Like it will be like first one will be requirements, then abstract, methodology, then there's results as well as conclusion and references. And the planning ability is what makes the agent structured rather than random. Up till now, the LLM and the planning module is clear. Next one is the tools that power the agent. This is the crucial part of the agent. This is what makes an agent agentic. Sorry, just a minute. Yeah. So some common tools are web searches, calculator, Python, execution, SQL basis queries, etc., etc. The first one would be like I mentioned, the first one is agents utilize web search tools to access real-time information, enabling them to gather data, answer queries, and provide relevant insights efficiently, improving decision-making processes. The code execution, on the other hand, execution capabilities allow agents to run scripts and algorithms directly, enabling dynamic problem solving and automating tasks that require computational power, thus enhancing their effectiveness. Then the next example of a tool in agentic AI is the database queries. With database querying database query abilities, agents can retrieve and manipulate data from various sources, ensuring that they have access to necessary information to support informed decision making and task execution. So because, like I mentioned before, LLMs are very good at texts, but tools are needed to interact with the real data. So an example would be, what's the current price of Bitcoin? A plain LLM might guess or hallucinate, but with a tool, it can fetch the live price. So tools allow agents to go from just being informative to being actionable. The next one is, the memory. Now, memory, agents need memory because tasks are not completed in one response. Then in agentic AI, there are two types of memory, the short-term memory as well as long-term memory. The short-term memory refers to the current conversational context. For example, you said you want a beginner level explanation to a certain topic. It can't always give you beginner level explanation because you'll be slowly learning a certain topic, so on. So that's something they wouldn't require inside a permanent memory or a long-term memory. Therefore, something like this would be inside the short-term memory. While in terms of a long-term memory, um, this is stored. This stores preferences. Like for example, you always prefer Python examples over C++ examples. That's an example, okay? And let's say you're working on a CV and the AI should know, okay, you have worked more on Python over C++ projects. So when, let's say, you ask the agentic AI um, what you want to build, let's say you want to build a resume, it will build the resume based on your preferences, not its random guesses. So memory helps agents to avoid repeating questions, personalize the output, as well as maintain continuity in tasks. And continuity basically means that implementing memory improves continuity in interaction, reducing repetition, and enhancing user satisfaction by providing a seamless, coherent experience that evolves with each user engagement. Next one is the execution and evaluation of the agent. So this slide is where the agentic AI becomes really impressive. An agentic AI does not just generate output, it can execute and validate. So for example, let's say a coding agent, yeah? So the step one of a coding agent would be write a code, write a certain code, it will run it, then it will observe the errors that it makes. If there are errors, it will fix the code, run it again, and then confirm the result. If the errors still persist, it will still iteratively fix the code until the final result is obtained. And once the result is confirmed, the agent completes the task. And this is exactly what we do as programmers, for example. Like this is a repetitive task. So just like if you noticed, here is where the repetitive tasks are made automatic. Right. So agents are more reliable because they can improve through iteration. So before going next, let me just read this out. So the first part of an execution evaluation phase is the execute plan. The agent carries out predetermined steps, executing the plan developed during the planning phase. This is crucial for achieving the defined goals effectively and efficiently. Then it observes the output. After execution, the agent assesses the results to determine whether the output aligns with expectations. This step is vital for understanding the effectiveness of the action taken. And then it validates correctness. The agent checks the output's correctness against predefined criteria. This validation process ensures that any errors are identified early, along with prompt adjustments and improvements. One thing I would like to clear up also along with this topic is the collaboration in agentic AI systems. And there are two types. There are single as well as multi-agent systems. So before I go into this, let me give you a real life example. If I give you the task to build a whole company, it's going to be very difficult for that one person to do it on his or her own. So what they could do is they could split their work into multiple different jobs and give it to different people based on how well their skills are. And this is what exactly a multi-agent system does. In a single agent system, all the work is done by one single agent, which is prone to overloading. While in terms of a multi-agent system, it breaks its work with different agents. Like for example, a research agent would gather content, a writer agent would create explanation, a coder agent would create the code and write the code, and a tester agent would validate the whole workflow. And this improves quality and specialization. It's like a group work, but done by multiple AIs. Um, Now, the real world applications of agentic AIs. And one real world example would be ChatGPT. As of now, like I mentioned before, ChatGPT is currently an agentic AI. It connects with lots of tools to perform various tasks. And Gemini also is another agentic AI as well. So, agentic AIs can be seen in software development. So, agents can code, debug, test, and write documentation. Then it can also be seen in education. Agents can generate quizzes, create study plans, tutor concepts, etc., etc. Then it's also available in business automation. Agents can write reports, summarize meetings, and automate workflows. It can also be seen in data analysis, where agents can clean data, it can generate insights, as well as it can create tasks, it can create graphs. And last example would be a customer support. So agents can classify tickets and give solutions automatically. And this is why agentic AI is becoming a key technology in today's world. Um, yeah, before I go to the next slide, I could give you a student use case. So as a student, how can we use agentic AI? So a practical example would be assignment planning assistant, project guide agent, a literature review helper, a resume improvement agent, etc., etc. And then agentic AI can act as a personal assistant for academic and career-related work. I hope that example is clear. Now we come to the limitations and risks of using agentic AI. While it's widely used by many companies and many people, it is still prone to errors and problems. And one example is hallucinations. What hallucinations are basically AI models make generate incorrect information or nonsensical outputs, leading to confusion and misinformation. The risks demands careful monitoring and validation in practical applications. Next one would be wrong actions. Sometimes agents can mistakenly utilize tools or execute actions that are inappropriate for the context, which could result in inefficient outcomes or unintended consequences during operation. And then next one would be infinite loops. The iterative nature of agentic AIs might lead to an infinite loop where the agent endlessly repeats tasks without making progress, necessitating robust exit strategies and safeguards. Other limitations would include privacy risks. Sensitive data can be leaked if permissions aren't guaranteed properly. Next would be security threats, where prompt injection, which is also a threat in today's time, where the agent can be tricked to do unsafe actions. And then there's also overtrust. One issue with humans are they overtrust AI blindly, and that can be dangerous. So we should use agents responsibly. But since I mentioned risks and limitations, I should also mention safety and control. So how do we handle these risks? First is the human oversight. Implementing human in the loop approvals allows the critical decisions to be vetted, ensuring that AI actions align with ethical guidelines and safety protocols before execution. Next is tool controls. Establishing tool permission control is essential for preventing unauthorized access, ensuring that only verified actions and tools are utilized by the AI for executing tasks safely. And then we also have monitoring loops. Regular logging and monitoring of AI activities enables effective tracking of operations, helping to identify anomalies, enhancing transparency, and facilitate timely intervention when needed. So, yeah, to solve the loop problem, like I mentioned before, you can include retry limits, which prevent infinite loops. So, yeah, agents must be both powerful and safe, not just risky alone. And the future scope of agentic AI would be personal assistants, which are integrated into apps. Then AI agents can be featured in operating systems. And also, digital workers would be available in companies. And what we'll also see would be better long term memory, fewer hallucinations, and more coordinated multi agent teamworks. So, this is a growing area where many opportunities can be created. So, we're moving towards the end of the presentation summary. Let's summarize what we've learned today. The key takeaways are chatbots reply and agents solve. And then agentic AI uses loops, which is goal, plan, act, observe, and repeat. And then the core part is the tools and memory, which makes the AI capable of real execution and has strong potential, but needs safety control as well. And yeah, as you can see on the screen, chatbots. We also went to chatbots versus agents. Chatbots primarily provide answers to queries, while agents are designed to solve complex problems and achieve goals through a series of actions and decisions. The agent loop, the core agent loop consists of planning actions, acting, observing, and repeating, which allows agents to adapt and improve their performance over time based on feedback. And in the practical application, Agentic AI has diverse applications, including customer support, automation, educational assistance, and coding help, showcasing its potential to enhance productivity across various industries. So, yeah, this is the end of the presentation. I hope you learned something new today. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Do you have any questions?
Could you also please cover ethical and ethical related issues, ethical and bias related issues, which are also risks for agentic AI?
Okay, like I mentioned before, the risks would be like, let me think about it. Yeah, like the ethical issues are privacy risks and security threats. And the way to solve that is building the agentic AI further on to make sure that privacy risks are maintained properly. And one way to solve this is giving proper permissions to these agents. Like, for example, um, you could give permissions to your agent to read your WhatsApp messages, but can prevent it from using those WhatsApp messages for like any um, inappropriate reasons, like any inappropriate uses. For example, it might end up sharing your information with someone else. That can be prevented by giving permissions. And the security threats, for example, prompt injection, um, that also would be where you to include permissions and make sure that your agentic AI is guaranteeing that it won't perform unsafe actions. I hope that's a clear answer.
Thank you. Apart from this, one important concept which you could also explain, which is human in the loop with respect to agentic
Yes,
AI.
yes. That part is where, like, for example, uh, um, you want me to explain that? Do you want
Yes,
me to explain
please.
that?
You- You're not
Yeah, okay.
covered, so please cover them as well.
Okay, so you may over the loop. So, like for example, let's say you have made an agent to send emails to companies. Like for example, let's say a company has asked you for your email, and before it sends the email, it will prompt the user or the person who is using the AI to ask for validation. So let's say I'm part of a company and I want my agent to send emails to a bunch of people. First, what the agent should do is ask me for approval. That's where the human in the loop approval comes in. So now I have to give the approval to the agent, and then after that, the agent continues its work by spreading the emails all over to people I want to receive the emails from. Is that a clear answer?
Yeah, fine. Thank you.
Thank
See,
you.
according to me, I think it also means humans review, approval, intervention in any sort of AI decisions at all critical stages so that it ensures safety, accuracy, and ethical compliance as well. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Um, is there anything else? Are there any other questions?
Okay. Yeah. So over to Ajit Thomas for vote of thanks. Aju, can you hear us?
I think he's not there. Anyway, thank you very much, Joshua, for the insightful session on Agentic AI. Our sincere thanks to all the participants for the active engagement. We also request everyone to stay tuned for our next student webinar scheduled on Saturday, 28th of February, as part of our fourth Saturday webinar series.
Mr. Rajesh.
Yeah. Can you allow Aju Thomas to